India has the second largest Muslim population in the world. And that population is only growing in numbers. If there is a perception, or if there's in reality, their lives are difficult or made difficult with the support of the state, which is what is implied in most of these write-ups, I would ask, will this happen in India? In the sense, will the Muslim population be growing than what it was in 1947?
This is what Nirmala Sitharaman responded when she was answering a question on violence against Muslims in India as reported by Western media in the USA. She slammed the reports appearing in Western media about violence against minorities in India. Her point was that since the Muslim population in India is rising, it is testimony to the safety of Muslims in India. Nirmala ji, while defending India's stance on its minorities, also said that Muslim students in India receive various scholarships. Well, the finance minister probably isn't aware about the minorities minister's statement on the Maulana Azad Fellowship when Ms. Smriti Irani announced that Maulana Azad Fellowship for minority students is not available anymore. It is not about the Maulana Azad Fellowship really, but about the propping up of the mythical issue of ballooning Muslim population in India. At a time when there are reports of minorities in India not feeling secure, for the finance minister to cite the growing population of Muslims since 1947 as the reason why no question should be raised about their well-being echoes the worst prejudices of the Sangh Parivar and raises more questions than answers about the intent and the commitment of the present government to an inclusive democracy comprising all citizens as equals. In the video today, we will debunk Ms. Sitharaman's claims of a safe India for Muslims and argue why and how Muslims are actually underrepresented. Let's talk about political representation first. As scholar Zoya Hassan notes, the Indian experience shows that access to institutions is a key element to obtaining the state's attention. Interests tend to be better represented once a group has actual representation in public institutions. Thus, it's important to look at the political representation of Muslims. While there have been improvements in the representation of most groups, for example, the percentage of backward caste members of parliament in the Hindi belt had nearly doubled from 11% in 1984 to more than 20% in the 1990s. Muslims although continued to be underrepresented in the relation to the general population. For the first time in independent India, there is no minister who is Muslim in the Union cabinet. Of the BJP's 303 Lok Sabha and 92 Rajya Sabha MPs, not one is Muslim. Incredibly, of its more than 1000 MLAs across India, there is not a single Muslim. Over the last few years, majoritarian politics has changed the political landscape markedly in relation to Muslims. Year after, a decline in representation is apparent in the states where majoritarian politics is a dominant force. The number of Muslim MPs has halved from 49 in 1980 to 27 in 2019, which was down from 30 in 2009. The underrepresentation of Muslims is stark when compared to the population proportion of 14.3%. Going by the population, they should have at least 77 MPs in Lok Sabha, but the number is only 27. Such disparity in political representation is only given air by dog whistling of certain political leaders against Muslims. The narrative of Muslim population growing has been a rallying cry of the RSS, Jan Sangh and the BJP, and the demographic anxiety has found expression increasingly. Organizer magazine just this year ran a story on why growing population of Muslims in India should be a matter of concern. The Akhil Bharatiya Sant Parishad's Himachal Pradesh in charge, Yati Satyadevanand Saraswati, has urged Hindus to give birth to more children to avoid India becoming an Islamic state. The claim by the state chief of the organization headed by Yati Narsinanand, out on bail in a hate speech case, UP Chief Minister Adityanath mounted the same logic as Sitharaman in January 2020, when he said, Muslim population up as they got special rights. The narrative that the Muslim population in India will exceed the Hindu population is debunked by many independent experts of the field. For example, Devendra Kothari, former chairperson of the National Committee to Review the Family Welfare Program, cited scientific analysis to say that the rate of Muslim population growth will go down in the next census. In his book, The Population Myth, Islam, Family Planning and Politics in India, former Chief Election Commissioner S.Y. Qureshi says that the population of Muslims can never exceed that of Hindus in India. The book uses mathematical models by former DU Vice Chancellor Dinesh Singh and Professor Ajay Kumar to back its supposition. The propaganda that Muslims will overtake the Hindus has been going on for quite a long time, Qureshi told PTI. Now that we have established how the myth of growing Muslim population is fed in a way to create anxiety and fear, we shall look at the actual state of Muslims in India vis-a-vis the Sachar Committee report and its findings. The report highlighted a range of disabilities faced by the community and made a slew of recommendations to address the situation. It placed Indian Muslims below scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in backwardness. Among the many issues it highlighted were the huge mismatch between the percentage of Muslims in the population and the decision-making positions such as the IAS and IPS. Perhaps the most telling features are in the IAS and IPS, the country's top officialdom. The Sachar Committee recorded the percentage of Muslims in the IAS and IPS as 3% and 4% respectively. These numbers were 3.32% and 3.19% respectively on January 1, 2016, according to Home Ministry data. So little to show for building the case about the welfare of Indian Muslims, it is a tough task at hand for the Finance Minister to equate the rhetoric with discouraging numbers. That's it from me. This is Zishan Kaskar and you were watching The Wire.